I'm going to just speak at you for an hour. No, not really. I think for half an hour we're going to speak and then 15 minutes of questions. The way I've structured the presentation is I'm going to talk about how I got to RGA, what RGA is, because RGA has sort of become a bit of a case study for change. And then I'm going to talk about two clients that have helped us change. Because I think that one of the things that makes the right change is when practice comes before theory. Most of the frameworks and ideas that we have about how to change come from work that we've done, and looking at that work, sort of regarding it after it's been done, and then trying to sort of, reverse engineer it. We've had no success come up with fruity theories that are sort of separate from practice. So I'm going to take you through two clients that have helped us sort of come up with theories out of the practice of working with those clients. So it's about change. Prior to coming to RGA, which I arrived at RGA in 2001, I hadn't stayed at a job for more than 18 months. And so I was as a sort of young creative, all about change. And it's funny that the one place that I stopped changing from is the sort of one place that sort of represents change. I come from this stark, sunburnt continent, and I grew up cultivating melanomas. I started in design and in sort of corporate identity design and print design back in the day. And in 1988, I left and I went overland and tried to get as many intestinal diseases as I could. And I chased women and was really unsuccessful, and especially when I landed here in this shabby little island off of Europe. And I worked at a place called Pentagram when Alan Fletcher was there and John McConnell. And then I moved into advertising, which at the time was a very different tribe. And it was sort of a drastic move for me at the time, and all my designer friends thought I sold out and that I would all of a sudden forget how to kern. And then having spent 6 years there, I came to America. I went to New York. I did some design there, I did some advertising there, and then ultimately in the mid-90s, I went into interactive. And just as the previous sort of change that I made, when I went interactive, people in the advertising world just thought it was a bit of a hobby. It was this sort of strange, sort of a techno-fetishist hobby that was never going to go anywhere. And you know, they thought that their initial instincts were right after the dot bomb. Right, this thing was going to go away. We don't have to worry about it. You know, this sort of hot flush that we had when we started to be concerned about this new world, it sort of disappeared because the dot bomb came along and proved that it was bullshit. Of course, we know that didn't happen, and actually, the internet won. So these were the sort of three disciplines that I changed from, and as I said at the time, these were very different cultures, and what was considered a concept in each of these worlds was very different. You know, a concept in design might just be a beautifully crafted composition. A concept in advertising tended to be like a punchline that, you know, ended in an ad. And a concept in early interactive world was a sort of navigational metaphor or something like that. So the languages between these tribes were so different, and it was sort of refreshing to me when I met this guy in 2001 and joined RGA, because he had this very particular philosophy, which is sort of based on the Bauhaus. And the thing about when you get lots of different disciplines together, lots of different creative disciplines together, is that you're more likely to be able to innovate, because innovation is, in the end, about combinations.